Alright, so the next thing we're going to do with Hello Kitty is make her bow. So the bow is going to be a very interesting shape to make, but let's see if we can figure it out. So I'm going to start with a cylinder. I'm going to bring this over to the side right now, and I'm going to pretty much eyeball this one. So I'm going to change it to 8. Will 8 be enough? We're going to hope that 8 is enough. So I'm just going to scale this down like this, and we're going to turn this into that bow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do this through perspective view. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to select these two faces and the two faces on the opposite side of it. I'm going to extrude these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that blue arrow. I'm going to bring them out this way. And that's going to create that rough bow shape. I'm going to actually scale this whole thing down, just so it's a little easier to work with. And we have the general bow shape right now, but we could add a little bit more detail to it. So to create more detail, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to select these faces right here. I'm going to extrude them upwards a little bit. I just want to take a good look. So the bow is a lot bigger that way. So I might end up actually taking these faces, and I might actually create another extrusion just to kind of get them to come out even farther, like that. I might even use, like this a little bit, just to kind of add more of a shape to it. Might be a little too much. So now we've got it that way. It's a pretty decent bow shape. I might edit it a little bit and just kind of round this more. So what I'll do is I'll go to the the top view. So I'm in the top view. I'm going to take these, and I'm going to take these. I'm going to scale them out this way a bit. That'll just add some more roundness to the bow. And then let's take a look at what else we need to do. So it has that little dip right there, or that little divot. We could create that. So let's give that a shot. So I'm going to go about halfway on this side, about halfway on this side. I'm also going to go halfway between each one of those. And what it's doing is I'm creating this little area right here to allow me to have a space right here for another extrusion. And this extrusion, I'm just going to bring inwards a bit. That'll create that divot. So now that we have the rough shape of the bow, it's pretty much all we really need to do with it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to go and move it, rotate it a bit. So let me just rotate this 90 degrees on the x-axis. I'm going to move it into place, rotate this way. Definitely going to need to scale it down. And we're going to rotate this way a bit since it's kind of at an angle. I'm going to use the side view as the reference for this part. And that should be a good enough spot. So normally you would append something like this to the head, but we're just going to leave it as a separate part, because that'll be annoying to really attach to it. Now for the tail, it's pretty much a small little spot. So we're going to go to the back end of the kitty. And we're going to take a couple of these faces. Let me just see. Okay. So I'll take probably these faces right here. I'll even take these as well. And for that, I'm just going to create an extrusion. Bring it on out this way. And then scale it inwards like that. And with that, the tail is pretty much done. We don't need to do too much to it. It should look good like that. As for that front button, that is a little bit difficult of an idea, but we'll see what we can do. So it's kind of a rounded star. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to look at it from the top view. I'm going to create a new cylinder. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to set it to a 10-sided subdivision axis. Is that the best way of doing it? Yeah. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take each well, every other vertex. So we should have 5, and we're going to scale it out like that. And I'm just doing this until I get a bit of a star shape, which is pretty much what we have right there. And I'm going to just scale it down this way. And let's rotate it. So I'm just going to rotate this 90 degrees. Let me just scale it down. And yes, it's not pointy in the pictures, but it will make more sense once we get to the next step. She does have another button there, so I'm just going to create another cylinder. Set that to 8. I'm going to scale it down really small. This is also another thing we could attach to the body, but from the looks of it, it's better if we just don't. So I'm just going to rotate it this way. Let me check it from the side view so I can bring it forward to where it needs to be. So I'm just going to scale that, and we're just going to leave it there for now. So, where did my star go? My star is inside her body still. That's not fun. So we're just going to bring that out. I'm going to tilt it a little bit this way. So at this point, our kitty is pretty much done. We only did one side of it, but we could do the second side really fast. Now, this is one of the reasons why I didn't attach the bow or the star or the button or anything like that, or let alone do the other side, is because we're going to work with something called mirroring. So while I'm going to have this selected, I'm going to go to Mesh and then Mirror, and I'm going to go through the option box. So what this can do is it'll basically, as long as my model is down the center line and symmetrical in some sense, it will mirror this properly. So I'm going to set my mirror axis to X because I want from this side to this side. Along the X-axis, I'm going to make sure it's negative, so it goes from positive to negative. It's going to combine it with the original, which I want. Merge border vertices, which I think I want right now. So let's mirror and see how it goes. Perfect. So this created the entire other side of Hello Kitty without me having to do any of that work. Fantastic. Sometimes if it doesn't work properly, you could change this to merge border edges, but it really hit or miss, depends on how you model it. So at this point, all we really need to do is attach the new pieces to it. So I'm going to just do that by parenting for now. Normally we would kind of combine it or merge them or append them together, but that should be fine. But we want to make this look a little better, because right now it's very pixelated or very low resolution, low geometry, and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at this smoothed out, and to see how an object looks smoothed out, which is using the subdivision tool, or the subdivision preview tool to be more specific. To do that, I'm just going to hit 3 on my keyboard, and that will smooth my character out. And basically what it does is it doubles the amount of geometry I have in my project and smooths it out together. So in this case, I can see where I might have a little bit of problems, where things need to be rounded out better. But it really depends on what we're working on. So in this case, like, I probably would come back in and fix these edges along right here so they're not as pronounced. But that's really up to you. One thing we're going to do next is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do what the subdivision would normally do. It's just showing a preview, but I'm going to smooth it. And now add that double amount of geometry so I can go in and see exactly what it looks like. You do have to do that for the separate pieces as well, but it works out nicely. Oops, forgot to do the bow. And once you have this done, you're pretty much good to go. I'd probably end up rounding this tail out more, but it's really up to you. This is just for the basics. And that's how you make Hello Kitty. And we can just go in. If we want to render it out, we just hit the button. There it is. And I could save this image as a color manage, go into Hello Kitty, save it, and now I have a picture of it. One thing I also highly recommend that you do often is to save your project, because that is very important. But that's all there is to it. Thanks.